Hello, Obophiles! I'm Danny Cruz, and this is the next video in the series of videos in which we learn how to play the oboe. Today, we're going to learn the melody and the bass line to Mary Had a Little Lamb in G major. If you need to review any of the fingerings for G major, you can check out the previous video. Otherwise, let's get right into it. Alright, so far we've been playing in G is Do tonality, and you heard Mary Had a Little Lamb, and you might have listened for what the starting note was, and you know it's definitely not Do, but instead it starts on Mi. So for us, if G is Do, then Mi would be the note B, and I'll have the fingerings right here next to me so you can review. I'm going to go ahead and teach it to you in parts, and then we'll put it together. So if you need to review the whole song, you can check out the beginning of the video just previous. So we'll go about this fast. You might want to be keeping your duple beat. Ba, 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 ba. As always, make sure you can sing the tune before you start trying to learn it on the instrument. It'll make your life a lot easier and your teacher's life as well. All right, repeat after me. Here is a part. So some things to notice. I want you to think about, are any of those parts identical to each other? For example, if it's in 4 parts that I just played, are the first 2 parts the same? Are the first and third parts the same? Or are the first and fourth parts the same? If you're not sure, go back and review the parts. Make sure you're able to copy them back. And if you need to slow down the video, you can do it in the corners on your player. Okay, the next thing I want you to notice is the 4th part had something interesting. It had kind of a pickup. It didn't start right on the downbeat. It started kind of in the previous section. Now, we're going to do those in bigger chunks, and I want you to repeat after me again. Awesome. If that's not yet easy for you, and it might not be, you should go back and rewind it and practice listening to it and playing back until you've got it. It only uses 4 different notes, of course, and the fingerings are right here to help you out. Now let's do the whole tune, and hopefully you'll be able to play it back to me. Now notice, I haven't used notation up to this point, but there's an interesting rhythm in the first bar. Hopefully, you're able to pause the video and play back the whole melody at will in Do is G major. If that is easy for you, try playing it in different keys once we learn some new notes. Now, back to the notation. I'm going to show you the notation here and play it through one more time, and I want you to see the uneven notation for the first rhythm. So far, we've only had rhythms that go ba 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 ba, or any variation of that. This is the first time we have ba ba ba, and we accomplish uneven rhythms by adding a dot to one of the notes. Now, mathematically, the dot adds half of the value of the note to the note, so it's like 150% if you're thinking of it that way, or 1.5 of whatever note has the dot. But I don't really like to use math with rhythms. I think that's very kind of cheesy. And even in my elementary school days, I think it's really helpful to just listen and visualize with the real notation instead of using analytics at this stage. Later, analytics are awesome. I think they're really useful once you have a grasp on pulse and rhythm. But for now, just go with your ear and really follow what you hear. So let's play through one more time. Great. Now, hopefully the notation helps you and doesn't prevent you from using your ears, because now we're going to learn the bass line. So hopefully that was easy for you to follow. Some things to think about with that bass line when you're learning it is that bass line symmetrical? In other words, could I copy and paste somewhere in that bass line so it's exactly the same as intended? And another thing to think about is, how does that bass line work with the melody? You might try holding G the whole time the melody's playing. If you go back and rewind to where I play the melody by itself, you might try playing the other note. If the first note is do, and that's a G, then the second note must be sol. And we want to figure out what note that is, so I might try notes lower than sol, which is G, and I might eventually find out that it's, well, I'm not going to tell you. But if you find out what sol is, could you leave in the comments below? And of course that sol wants to go back to do. Alright, now, if finding the bass line is easy for you, you might also like to try that in different keys once you learn new notes later on in the video. That's it for Mary Had a Little Lamb. Hopefully you got a lot out of that tune. If you did, hit like and subscribe. And if you'd like to follow along with a duet notation version of all the tunes that I've been teaching you so far, I'll have an ebook that is not ready to come out yet, but will come out soon, and that'll be in the description below. As always, if you need reads or other Oboe materials, you can check out oboefiles.com, link in the description. And when in doubt, play beautifully.